This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. What's going on, freaks? Yep. I've actually been working on this like in the Delphi case, you know how Google Earth is really, like, from this height right here, if I copied it and then zoomed in, it'd be really blurry, right? So what I've done is I've taken, yeah, so I think, hold on. Yeah, Richard Allen, he lives right here, right there. And so what I did was I started down here and I zoomed in about this close, right? About like this. Then I saved that image, and then I merely just move it over. So you got to keep something in to snap it together. So like this one has the road on the right hand side, right? So I go like this, and then I save that image out, and then over here you see this road or something, then you move that over here, then I save that image out, and then I save, you know, then I keep going over it, and then I go up one like this, and then I keep going over, save one, save another one, save another one. And I created this massive text file. Hey, thanks. I mean, not text file, massive JPEG. Thanks, Teresa Murray. So look at this. Let me open it up for fun. And then I'm going to use that to build out do my animations and shit from in 3D Studio Max. It's going to be sweet.
Party base. Let's get this party started.
Thanks, Teresa Murray. Did you replace the... Oh, you cut it in half. The hit points on me up there is cut in half. Thank you very much for starting it off. Yep. We have a goal at the top of the screen there. And I did a show earlier today, too. But let me show you this image here in a second. I'm going to go look for it. Yeah, there, and then images, and it's just one massive. So this is crazy how big this thing is. I don't even know if it'll work. Oh yeah, see, so it says, sorry, photo can't open the file because the format is currently unsupported, meaning it's too big. I mean, it is huge. So I guess what I'd have to do is to show it to you is open up Photoshop here. Let me see, for a JPEG, let's see how big it is. It's 788 megabytes. I mean, that is so big. For just a JPEG, those things are small file size, right? Let's see what happens. And that's just a huge file. Unbelievable. Thank you. Hell in a bucket, babe. So right now it's trying to load up. Alright, so there it is. This massive image. It's 44,869. You know, like, You know, a regular HD image is 1920 by 1080. This is 44,869 by 29,743. So you can see the whole thing. It took me forever. I stitched it all together. It looks perfect. And now watch, I can zoom all the way in. This isn't even 33, 50, 100%. Look at that. So now it's clear. Even way over here, I can zoom in, and it's clear. That's 300%. So right there is 100. And that's all I really wanted about like that. But it's this huge, it's like having Google Earth as an image. And now I can put it into 3D Studio Max as a texture on a plane, and then I can have cars moving around all over the place, and it's still clear, you know. See what I'm saying? I mean, look at that. That's 100% size right there. So if you zoom in, it starts losing clarity from there. I think that's pretty sweet. So I got the whole area in there, and I'll be able to do what I want to do by putting that as a plane, and I'll put the daylight system in there and everything. It's going to be awesome. Alright, I was just showing you what I've been working on. And you keep it north-south oriented. So when you're in Google Earth, you could be like this, and you're just kind of working around. But if you hit the R, it puts everything back to north-south oriented. Hey, by the way, the world record in the shot put was broken again by Ryan Krauser. 77 feet something. I mean, that is sick. He broke his own world record. Not that you give a damn, but I do. I mean, I love those kind of events like that. Oh, and I think that we also the debt ceiling crisis might be averted. Who knows what the deals were, though. Yeah, Ryan Krauser is just so amazing at that. I mean, he had a great one in the Olympic trials a few years back, but this one beat that one by, gosh, probably 8-9 inches. Something. I mean, a whole bunch. He could throw a tank. A grenade, he probably couldn't throw a grenade. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like quickness and power. He's like a graceful, huge shot putter. It's really weird. I don't know how he does that. By the way, look at this, you guys. It's a dog. See, it's bending down to eat in the tail back here and the leg. Man, I'm telling you, it really is a dog. Oh, by the way, the crazy YouTuber who remember the one I tracked down that was in another state? Well, he's doing a video where he's going to be trashing the girl that he was living with currently, because I mean she made a pretty big mistake because she on a Reddit post or something. You know, it's just stupid stuff. You know. But he's re-victimizing the same person. He is just one of the worst people there ever was. I mean, just absolutely one of the worst people. He's going to be doing a live stream where he's just trashing. Like, ooh, look, I won, everybody, I won. Yeah, because you tricked the judge, okay? And I don't even know how a judge would listen to a guy like that. Wow. Anyways, I feel bad for her. It's not good. Not good. Let's see. Alright, well, I'm just going to get started then. The first one I'm going to do is the more recent case that's going on right now of Nikki Cunningham, but she also has a different name as well. Let's see. The other name's harder to say, but Alcaraz. So I'm just going to, there's a few articles from the 16th, 18th, 26th. So we can get a feel for what's going on. It doesn't look like a good story. Something bad's probably happening here. The Nikki Cunningham missing case is caught. I saw this a few days ago, or a while ago. Somebody sent it to me, and there didn't seem to be enough information at the time. But people are curious about whether she is found or not. For more information on the topic, please read the article below. Nikki Cunningham, a resident of Nashville, Tennessee, has gone missing. She attended schools in Cheatham County School District before enrolling at Nashville State. Her disappearance in May of 2023 has sent shockwaves through her community. The last known sighting of Nikki on May 5th is in Paraire, I don't know what that says, Paraire, New Mexico, when she was seen in the company of Tyler Stratton. This disturbing turn of incidents has raised many red flags because Nikki has a troubling past of domestic violence. The news of Nikki's disappearance quickly spread, capturing the attention of both local and national media outlets. There's a growing concern that she may have been kidnapped or harmed, making it even more urgent to locate her. Authorities and volunteers are conducting thorough search of the area with great effort in hopes of finding any clues or leads. That's the guy and her. So let's see. Nikki Cunningham missing case. Nikki Cunningham, also known as legal name of Nikki Alcaraz, has gone missing. This is kind of a weird website here. But Nikki Cunningham, a 33-year-old woman, has been reported missing for over a week, and her whereabouts remain unknown. So they're just kind of repeating stuff. So I'm going to go to this other, like a Fox 10, more of a local news.
Be formed in large.
Okay, a family is working tirelessly to bring a missing Tennessee woman home, and they believe the woman could be in Arizona. Family members of 33-year-old Nikki Alcaraz, also known as Nikki Cunningham, said they believe she is in real immediate danger. They said it's very unlike Nikki to not call or text, as she calls members of her family every day. "We're kind of lost," said Nikki's brother, Josh Alcaraz. "We don't know what to do."
A Tennessee woman is missing, and her family is working frantically to try to bring her home.
They believe she's in real immediate danger and could be here in Arizona. Fox 10's Stephanie Bennett joins us live with the story. Steph?
Yeah, we spoke with her family tonight of Nikki Alcaraz, and they are just desperately trying to find her. She was last seen and heard of on May 6th, so just a couple weeks ago in New Mexico. Now, they believe that she's in real danger because usually she at least texts or calls them every single day, and all of that stopped on May 6th.
You know, right now we're kind of lost. We don't know what to do.
Josh Alcaraz says it's been a difficult year. In January, their sister died. Last month, their grandfather also passed away. And now this, his other sister, Nikki, is missing.
Obviously, worst case scenario is very present in the back of my mind. I'm trying to hold out hope.
Take a good look at her photo. 33-year-old Nikki Alcaraz, also known as Nikki Cunningham. She was last seen on May 6th around 7 a.m. at a Super 8 motel in Moriarty, New Mexico. She had been traveling with her boyfriend, Stephen Tyler Stratton. Nikki has 2 children who were not on the trip. Josh says they brought this dog and were driving this 2013 black Jeep Wrangler with Tennessee plates and a Mama Tried bumper sticker. Josh says the couple was headed from Tennessee to Orange County, California to visit family and friends, but they never made it. Josh thinks they could be anywhere in New Mexico, Arizona, or California.
She's done that drive so many times, she can do it in 2 days with her eyes closed.
Josh says things turned south in New Mexico.
He beat her up pretty badly. A truck driver had to pull him off of her, called the police. The police picked him up, took him a couple exits down and dropped him off. He was diagnosed with traumatic brain injury and a broken hand or wrist.
Josh says that one of Nikki's friends in California
Diagnosed with the police picked him up, took him a couple exits down and dropped him off. He was diagnosed with traumatic brain injury and a broken hand or wrist.
Josh says that
He had a traumatic brain injury?
one of Nikki's friends in California drove out to New Mexico to help her, but Nikki had left.
And they stayed in the hotel, and the next morning she left on a mission to find Tyler. We'd like everybody to keep their eyes open. You see the Jeep, if you see him, if you see her, you know, call somebody, the local police.
Yeah, and Josh says that
Wait,
he's
now,
also
what was
On
it?
a mission to find Tyler.
friends in California drove out to New Mexico to help her, but Nikki had left.
And they stayed in the hotel, and the next morning, she left on a mission to find Tyler.
Okay, so Nikki went to look for Tyler. So that sounds like what they're saying is Nikki. They left the hotel looking for Tyler, not the friends that went down there. It's kind of a confusing way
We'd
they
like
worded
everybody
that.
to.
Mexico to help her, but Nikki had left.
And they stayed in the hotel, and the next morning, she left on a mission to find Tyler. We'd like everybody to keep their eyes open. You see the Jeep, if you see him, if you see her, you know, call somebody, the local police.
Yeah, and Josh says that he's also scared that maybe their vehicle broke down somewhere in the desert or drove off of the road. For now, they're asking anyone with information to contact them or police. We're going to have more details on our website.
Nikki was reportedly last seen at around 7 a.m. on May 6th at a Super 8 motel in Moriarty, New Mexico, a town about 40 miles east of Albuquerque. I guess it's Moriarty. I think I've heard that before. Moriarty. Okay. She had been traveling with her boyfriend, identified as Steven Tyler Stratton. Nikki's 2 children were not on the trip. Josh and Nikki and her boyfriend. Josh and Nikki and. Okay, who's Josh? Okay, hold on. Nikki was reported last seen around 7 a.m. Josh said Nikki and her boyfriend. Okay, that's the brother. Okay. And her boyfriend brought a dog along for the trip, and they were traveling in a 2013 black-colored Jeep Wrangler with Tennessee license plates and a Mama Tried bumper sticker. Thank you, Traveling Teresa. The couple, according to Josh, were headed to Orange County, California to visit family and friends, but never made it. She's done that drive so many times, said Josh. She can do it in 2 days with her eyes closed. You know, so it's really, really concerning that it's been so long. According to Josh, things between Nikki and her boyfriend turned south in New Mexico. You know, that is sort of like Gabby Petito, I guess you could say. He beat her up pretty badly, except this one seems like it was a continual physical, you know, abuse over the years. He beat her up pretty badly, said Josh. A truck driver had to pull him off of her, call the police. The police picked him up, took him a couple exits down, and dropped him off. She was so they didn't say that in the article. They worded it wrong. The audio portion. She was diagnosed with a traumatic brain injury and a broken hand or wrist. So what happened to her? I mean, did she go to the hospital or? Josh said one of Nikki's friends in California drove out to New Mexico to help her, but Nikki had left. They stayed in the hotel, but the next morning she left on a mission to find Tyler, and that is the last anybody has really heard from her, said Josh. Josh says he's scared the vehicle Nikki was in could have driven off the road or broken down in the desert. Let's see. They stayed in the hotel, but the next morning she left on a mission. Yeah, so it was Nikki went to look for Tyler. Josh said he's scared the vehicle Nikki was in could have driven off the road or broken down in the desert. Well, where's Tyler, though? We would like everybody to keep their eyes open, and if you see the Jeep, if you see him, if you see her, call somebody, call the police. But, I mean, I don't know what, this picture has been out there, and there's bruises and stuff all over, but when was this taken? Was this taken on this trip, or was it just one of her other experiences with him? Don't really know the answer to that. What do you mean, so did they see her? What do you mean, Cindy? Josh said it has been a difficult year for his family. Their sister died in January. And I think it was the grandfather passed away a month ago. Obviously, worst case scenario is very present in the back of my mind. And yep, on a nightly basis in here, everybody, the freaks help support the channel by observing the goal at the top of the screen. And if you can afford it and you want to help support the channel, then all you have to do is look up there and say, oh wow, there it is. And maybe you can become a super freak. On the Arius show during the day, it's weird. Everybody on there is really in tune and getting it. I make it lower, obviously, because it's just there's only like maybe 80 to 100 people watching that one. Thank you, Lisa Murphy. That should take over the super freak spot. There it is. I think 20 is actually at 3,000 points, so that takes over. That's an alien spacecraft. Yeah, so this is Moriarty right here. Mm-hmm. There we go. Yeah, I'm just showing you where Moriarty is. Man, we don't have any idea where she went from here.
Detective, I like this map sleuthing.
Oops. No, I think it was just... Is that the same one? Same article?
Josh says they brought this dog and were driving this
The police picked him up, took him a couple of...
Yeah, that's the same one. Okay. Just a video by itself. So, Cheatham County woman goes missing during cross-country trip with boyfriend. This one is from yesterday, so hopefully it has a little bit more info in it. A Cheatham County family is desperately trying to find... This is from Tennessee. I mean, they're pretty far away from home at this point. I guess they were heading to California, I think. Yeah, Orange County. Let's see where this is. So here's Moriarty. Thank you, Danielle and Cindy.
This is a strange case.
Uh-huh. So thank you also to a guy named Roger in the background. He sent really generous PayPals in, so I really appreciate that. So thank you. That was earlier today. Not show related. I mean, they're related to my show, but not this one or the one earlier. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm just reading this article here. The Cheatham County family is desperately trying to find their loved one after she disappeared while traveling across the country with her boyfriend, who is currently wanted out of Middle Tennessee. Yeah. So why is he wanted? Jeez, what a terrible situation. I mean, we don't get to know where the plates are. The police get to know, right? When they look at the plate readers and so forth, if If it even exists out there. Let me put that in there. Thank you, Gene Darcy. Okay. Well, here, let's just... I'll do a bin verified here really quick. I'm gonna do a search really quick. Can't be more than one of those in the country. Yeah, believe it or not, there's more. How could there be multiple Nikki Alcarazes? I mean, Jesus. Yeah, she's 33, so it's likely, yeah, it looks like the first one. Ashlyn. I'm just going to get her address and see if it's in that same county there. So it should be kind of around here. Yep, okay. So now we're in the right place. This is where Nikki lives. I just want to see if I get the directions from here to like San Diego, California. Oops. Ah, just froze. Have to wait a second here. San Diego's a space, right? I think. Ah. Maybe it's not. Nope. No, it's not. Ah, there we go. Did it make the directions though? I don't see it. But let me look at this, what it says here. Arizona, it does go through Arizona at some point. Just want to see why they would be in New Mexico. Alright, Arizona. Yeah, I don't see any time where it says go through New Mexico. I mean, it makes sense that you would go through New Mexico at one point. Oh, and it's right there. And if you live over here, you're likely going to go through New Mexico, heading down to Southern California. So Moriarty is right there, and then they think maybe, you know, going to go to Arizona and then California over here. Okay. This is one from 26. Okay. I talk to her almost every day, so I'm scared something happened to them, said Tony. Nikki had set out in her black Jeep with her boyfriend, Tyler Stratton, and a dog to visit family in Orange County, California. It's a trip she's done hundreds of times, Tony explained. Our uncle is still in Southern California, and she goes to see him often. During their cross-country trip, the couple had a run-in with law enforcement in Torrance County, New Mexico. Ugh, God, my stomach's just crazy right now. According to a Torrance County Sheriff's Office report from May 4th, a witness saw Stratton punch Nikki in the face. Wow. The report went on to say that Stratton claimed he was also hit with blood coming from his mouth and nose. Since neither one wanted to press charges, authorities said Stratton and Nikki were given rides after Nikki was dropped off in Moriarty. Tony said Nikki called her. Okay, so Tony said Nikki. So Nikki called her brother. She was crying and upset. Her eye was already turning black, so that maybe those are pictures from right now. Tony said Nikki called her. She was crying and upset. Her eye was already turning black, and you could tell she was beat up pretty bad, Tony recalled. So those pictures that we were looking at, like this, I think these are from that night, because there's the eye right there. Shortly after the fight, Tony said a family friend... Wait, hold on. She was crying and upset. Her eye was already turning black. Tony said she wishes the deputies had arrested both of them, so maybe the couple wouldn't be missing right now. Doesn't that sound just like the Gabby Petito situation? I just feel like maybe the right steps weren't necessarily taken, she stated. Shortly after the fight, Tony said a family friend drove to New Mexico where he met with Nikki in hopes of bringing her to California. So this friend did meet her. That morning, when they were supposed to leave, she told him she had to go back and find Tyler because she had a bad feeling, and so he left without her, Tony explained. So the friend that went there left without Nikki because she had to go find Tyler. I mean, that's another weird decision, right? Tony believes that friend was the last person to see her sister on May 6th. However, Nikki did communicate with Tony via text 2 days later, okay, so on the 8th, saying she was in Arizona with plans to complete the trip to California. Then I didn't hear anything else after Monday morning. So you'd think that police and law enforcement would be tracking her phone and trying to figure out what's going on. The fear over Nikki's disappearance has been heightened by some eerie similarities to the high-profile Gabby Petito case. Well, there you go. The 22-year-old Florida woman set off a cross-country trip with fiancé Brian Laundrie, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we already know that. Let's see. All the stories like that seem to happen and seem to happen more often, make it more terrifying, Tony said. According to Tony, a license plate reader picked up Nikki's Jeep near Flagstaff, Arizona on May 9th. Tony has already filed a missing persons report. So let's see. So somewhere around in here. Flagstaff. Yeah, we know, Cindy. I just read it out loud. Did you hear that? God, it's just... Oh my God. It's unreal. Are you going to type in every word that I say the rest of the show? I just did. Let's see. He said his office was requested nationwide extradition for Stratton. Let's see. Cheatham County District Attorney General Ray Crouch told News 2 officials are gathering information from law enforcement in New Mexico and Arizona. He said his office had requested nationwide extradition for Stratton, who has an unrelated arrest warrant for failure to appear on a probation violation. So that one's more like, we had another case like that recently. Oh yeah, I mean that's sort of like the, well, I mean the guy that killed the himself and two girls he didn't know and his family because he was about to get arrested and then he, so it makes you more nervous because the charges might put him back in the jail and he wouldn't want to go there and who knows what was going on. I mean, it's ridiculous that he was traveling. He was like trying to get away. It wasn't like they were just traveling. He was trying to get away from his arrest warrant. Nikki's 5'6", with brown eyes and brown hair. She also has many tattoos. The Jeep is a 2013 black Jeep Wrangler with a tag saying BGL 3539, a Mama Tried sticker, and camo seats. Anyone with information, call 505-832-6060. So what's the Tyler Stratton? So the other article had his name wrong. How old is this guy? He's probably 34. That makes sense. Okay, he's got speeding. The only thing I could find is speeding tickets. That's it. I don't know what he was charged, but. Yeah, they're not giving enough information to really try to figure out something. I mean, law enforcement is likely tracking. It's bad news that she's somebody that almost always contacts people and hasn't for a long time. So it makes you wonder if he beat her, like he beat her, and maybe he's got her held somewhere. Hopefully the best case scenario for her is that he's hiding her from the public until she basically heals from her injuries. Something like that. But, I mean, that would be just pure luck if it was something like that. I think it's, doesn't sound good. Yeah, I just said that, Zozo. I just read that on the show. Yeah. They were... yeah. It was on the 9th in Flagstaff, Arizona, right? So, I mean, last time somebody saw her was the 6th, but on the 9th, her car is still moving around. So, what does that mean? Does that mean she was the one driving the car? We don't get to know the answers. These are the kind of cases that I get really frustrated with. You notice how back in the day when we go over those old newspaper articles, those reporters get every single piece of information and they're given the information and it gets out there. Nowadays it's just everything's just so quiet. Nobody says anything. If I was these family members, I'd be out there telling every single detail in a missing person case like this that you can think of. Because people online are able to put things together and, give you hints and clues and maybe even see something. Maybe they're somewhere else and you weren't paying attention. Especially in missing persons cases. You gotta get going, get as much stuff out there as you can. So, anyways, that's all I got on this one. Yeah, I mean, communicated with her on the 8th, and then her car had on the 9th in Flagstaff, Arizona, was on a car, her license plate went through one of the readers. Man, there's just so much energy tonight. It's awesome. Where do we go next? Alright, we're going to do the one we didn't do last night. But I'm going to do a lot of reading coming up here. So, you know what happens when I'm reading. It just goes... Alright, so pretend that you're just really interested and it's exciting. Yeah, people are always saying they see this, they see that. So until somebody confirms something, I'm moving on to something else. Alright, here we go. 1991. This is the one from last night, the Mark Himebaugh. Yeah, we don't know traveling, Teresa. Hard to know. People say that there's so many times people think they see somebody, but it's not them. So. Thank you, CaliGal3, for the reading fund. Will you be the only one in the reading fund? We don't know. That's the question. Thank you. And Amber Mania. It's just something they made up, Danielle. Or Daniel. Not Danielle. The reading fund isn't really a real thing. It's just like, hey, he's going to be reading. And whenever I'm reading, nobody's communicating. And the super chats and everything just die up. So everybody kind of realizes that. So, you know. It's just what I didn't even come up with that, to be honest with you. And thank you so much, Cadillac. Boom. Not one of them was $49.99 where you get the little dancer. Yes, energy. You're right. So, I mean, if there's a place that has a whole bunch of extra information on that last case, you know, let me know. I mean, I don't see anywhere where it talks about she was at a store. I went and looked for all the articles I could find. I didn't see that. You know, so send me an email and I'll do an update on it tomorrow or something. What's wrong with you, Cindy? Are you okay? Thank you, Kathy Chapin. Oh, and Tina Susser. Who's going to get the... Super Freak? Trying to read some of the comments here. That's on the missing person one? Let me see. I mean, but here's the thing. People make missing persons posters that aren't really from the, you know, they're not the main one. Let's see what this one says, though. Maybe this one. Nikki was last seen on 5/6 in Moriarty, New Mexico with Tyler Stratton. She was last seen in a black Jeep Wrangler with Tennessee license plate and Mama Tired bumper sticker. Due to history of domestic violence, we believe she's in danger. She may be located in New Mexico, Arizona, or California. Where does it say that? See, the thing is there's 1,000 missing person reports that people go, ooh, I'll make one too. And then they put stuff on it that nobody knows where it came from. Right? So you see that? I have a missing persons poster there, and that wasn't on there. Okay. Her Instagram. How about you send me a link in an email, and I'll try to open it up. I mean, how would she put it up there on her Instagram? She's not able to do it. You just typed in Instagram, Peter. I read it. Send me the link. No thanks. I don't have time. All right, here we go. About 100 volunteers and police in Cape May County searched without success until dark yesterday in an effort to locate an 11-year-old boy who left his home to watch a brush fire Monday afternoon. Middle Township Detective Sergeant Walter Oliver identified the missing youth as Mark Himebaugh of Sunray Road, a 6th grader at the Cape May County Alternative School. Let's see, and let me get his picture here. This is him right here. You know, it's interesting. All these different stories I come across lately are ones where these stories that I come across lately are what do you call it? You always hear these like alternative schools or a home, one of those children's homes somewhere. I'm not really grumpy, Peter. You just have to send me a link and be more productive in helping somebody instead of stopping the show and then looking something up, and then I'll have to look through to figure out which one. You know, you could have easily just been helpful. Okay, try doing that sometimes. I mean, that would be awesome. Hey, thanks, Colleen Daly Page. I know, I asked, and you didn't give me an answer that was helpful, Peter. That's what I'm telling you. Let's see. Yeah, you always get the ones with this, like the schools, alternative school, or sort of like a home where kids have to go to the school, that kind of thing. Yeah. Hey, Cindy, when you put names in there, do you do that on purpose, or is it like a timing thing, or like what's the point when you put in the chat, like I said, Mark Himebaugh, and then you typed it in again? Is there something, maybe that's good for chapter creations. Is that what you're doing, or? Mm-hmm. I'm hoping there's an actual reason that she does that. Like, types in exactly what I say. Oh boy. How about you just write it in your book? Yeah, so it looks like he went to go watch a fire or something down the street. Well, I think I might have already... Yeah, I didn't put him there. How about this one? There he is. Let me move him over to this folder. So I did already do that one. I have where he lived at the time. Why does somebody need to call me American Lady? I just want to do the show, okay? It's just... Are we having one of those weird nights again? Are you guys being trolls, Mona and Peter, tonight? Is that what you're doing? I'm going to have to put both of you guys on... I go with the timeout route. Yeah, it sounds like a good way to do it. Alright. Yeah, so when somebody says, "Hey, Gray, it's on a wanted poster," and I go, "Really? Okay, where?" "Well, it's on Instagram." "Okay, can you send me a link?" Just look for it. Boy, that's so helpful. Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, come on. You know how, I mean, honest to God, when you want to help out, go to Instagram like you were doing, get the link, send me an email, and I'll look at it. Something about that she was at a store with a dog or something. I mean, this is my personality, but, you know, come on. I mean, if you really want to be helpful to keep a show flowing, send a link or something. You don't just sort of randomly blurt out something and then tell people, you know, pause the show, go out and look. You know how many things are on Instagram? Like TikTok, there's 1,000 videos on this person already. They're all the same, every single one of them. And, you know, I'm just saying, if you're trying to be helpful, send a link to it. It's that simple. All right. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, thanks, Scouting Dude. I mean, honestly, what I'm saying is true, right? Please. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe later on, if we get to the point where, you know, when I get through the story, if Colleen Daly Page wants to call in or something, that'd be great, but I just want to get through the case, you know, where I'm just going through the papers over the years, and then it'd be great to have Colleen's perspective on it at the end. Do you want to call in Colleen at the end when we get through all these? But when you say call in, there isn't a number on the screen or anything like that. And no, you don't have to say you're sorry. I'm just saying she doesn't have there's no number on the screen. I don't even have calls set up at this point. I generally, on these cold cases, don't assume somebody in the audience is going to want to knew somebody. This is from 1991, which is 32 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's a full moon or not. What case is that? I've seen that one. Pearl Pinson. Yeah, we covered Pearl Pinson on here. God, that was probably 5 years ago at least. One of the very first shows, I think. I just saw it on this other post in my GHI The Missing group. That's a weird one. Remember that's the case where the boyfriend got killed? Like in a shootout before they were able to ever ask him where he put her? I mean, how shitty is that? I know it's just a suggestion, American Lady. I said I'd take the suggestion when I'm done going through the story. Thanks. Man, what's going on in here? It's wild. Okay, about 100 volunteers and police in Cape May County searched without success until dark yesterday in an effort to locate an 11-year-old boy who left his home to watch a brush fire Monday afternoon. Middle Township Detective Sergeant Walter Oliver identified the missing youth as Mark Himebaugh of Sunray Road, and it's a 6th grader at the Cape May County Alternative School. I sort of have a pin there, but it's not even showing. It's weird. Where would it be? Huh. Here, I'm going to shut this down and open it back up again. Because that pin should just be sitting right there. It's not on the screen. I think it's a good suggestion, too. American Lady, I'm just, you know, are you still in here? I was a regular alternative school. It was a regular alternative school. 8 to 3. Okay. I don't know if she's still here. Are you still here, Colleen? Alright, maybe this will work now. Yeah, see, now it's there. Isn't that weird? Okay. So that would have been his house back then. And I'm assuming that this is it right here. Cape May County Alternative High School. Is it a high school? Oh, he's only 11 though. So is there a different one? Cape May County. I don't know if Colleen's in here, but is that what it is now? The Cape May County Alternative High School? He was only 11, so maybe it was a junior high school. Right there. All right. Cape May Court. Yeah, I don't see any other schools with that name on it. Maybe it's called something else now. So Mark left his home at 3:30 p.m. Monday, telling his mother, Maureen, that he was going to watch the fire about a quarter mile away, police said. When he didn't return by 6 p.m., his mother reported him missing. I wonder if there was a report of a... Here, let's try this. What day is this? November 27th, 1991. He went missing on... Well, right around that time. They said Monday here, so it would have been the 25th. To watch a brush fire Monday afternoon. This is Wednesday the 27th. So the 25th. So let's open up another and type in, let's see, God. Like fire, I'm just going to say November 1991 in, I think this is New Jersey. Where is this again? God, my brain is just not working. Middle Township. Yeah, New Jersey, right? Yeah. Sorry, guys, I'm just looking for something. There's gonna be a million fires. There's fires all the time. Shit. What's the name of this little town here? Probably Delhaven, maybe? Fire Delhaven. Six that probably make the paper. Let's see, maybe if you think it was a house fire or a brush fire. Automatic alarm. Chimney fire. Well, I'll keep that off to the side. Who knows if that'll have the right one. It'd be cool to know exactly where the fire was, but He left his home at 3:30 p.m. Monday, telling his mother, Maureen, that he was going to watch the fire about a quarter mile away, police said. When he didn't return by 6 p.m., his mother reported him missing. Oliver said one of the boys, white LA Gear sneakers, was found a few blocks from his home. We are not considering foul play at this time because we need more evidence than just the shoe, Oliver said. I don't know what to make of the case right now. Well, the missing shoe is a big deal because the kid would have went home. And I mean, obviously, if it fell off his foot, he would have put it back on if he was able to, right? And if he just sort of was running and somehow in a crowd he lost the shoe, he probably would have went home and got another shoe. Or a different pair, likely, right? Police and volunteers yesterday combed a 2-mile square area. Several dogs assisted. Jim Himebaugh, the boy's father, who is separated from his wife, praised the people who came out in the cold to look for his son. I can't believe how these people have rallied to look for Mark. Joe Himebaugh, a customer relations employee for Inkwell Printing Company in Cape May, said Mark was somewhat of a loner who played mostly with his older brother Matthew. So this is Cape May, right? Yeah. About 100 volunteers and police in Cape May County searched without... That's what we're doing here. So what is this one? Okay, let's see if there's any in Cape May here. Hey, thanks, Zozo. Appreciate it. Wait, could this be? Ah, the word fire is in there.
Reading wave, ocean wave, let's do it.
Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding. Let's see. Maybe this one. Ocean, Cape May counties. This last one. Well, don't see it. Alright, so I gave it a shot. Authorities said they knew of no problem at home or at school that would make Mark flee. When last seen, Mark was wearing a blue sweatshirt, gray Dockers style pants, and a gray jacket. The boy is 4 feet tall, weighs 85 pounds, and has blue eyes. He has red hair and freckles. Oh, thanks. Thank you again, Cadillac. You guys are so kind. Thank you. Okay, it's down here at the bottom here. So hope fades as search continues for boy missing since Monday. Thank you, Linda Howell, as in Linda Molden Howe, the cattle mutilations and crop circles. Anyone on the song? Police Chief Raymond Saunders said he's beginning to lean towards the possibility that a missing 11-year-old Del Haven boy was abducted. Saunders and Mark Himebaugh, mother Maureen, last saw her son around 3:30 p.m. Monday as he was walking home on Sunray Beach Boulevard. So she saw him...
Riding with JoJo.
He was walking home. I thought she... Why would he be walking home? I thought he was at home and asked for permission to go to watch a fire. while she ran an errand. He was returning home from witnessing... Oh, so now he went to witness the brush fire and he was on his way home. That makes a totally different story. So Saunders said Mark Himebaugh's mother last saw her son around 3:30 p.m. Monday as he was walking back, basically it should say walking back home on Sunray Beach Boulevard. While she went to run an errand, he was actually returning home from witnessing a brush fire on Bayshore Road. Okay, now we have the road where the fire was, so let's see.
Ocean wave, ocean wave, ocean wave.
Oh, so it's over here. You know what was crazy? The other day we were driving sort of near the home from Washington over the 205 bridge, and then we got onto 84, and there was this car completely engulfed in flames with the people running away from it. And you could feel the heat in the car while we were driving way, you know, we weren't anywhere near it, but the heat was just tremendous. It was crazy. So there's Bayshore, and it looks like it goes into here. So, and they said, what did he say, a quarter mile? So maybe it was like right over here, a fire, something like that. Maybe that'll be the one key clue to get it. No. Okay. So he was returning home from witnessing a brush fire on Bayshore Road. When she returned home a half hour later, he was gone. So he never made it home. He was on his way home, so you would think he kind of would have made it home, and then something happened to him. During the time of the fire, officials blocked Bayshore Road and rerouted traffic down Sunray Beach Road across Delaware Avenue. Let's see if that can help. Blocked Bayshore Road and rerouted traffic down Sunray Beach. Sunray Beach Road. Sunray Beach Road? That doesn't exist? Like they've already changed every single thing here. Let me put on the roads thing. Oh, there's Sunray Road. I bet you that's what it is. Ah, so they rerouted the traffic down that road.
Ocean wave, ocean wave, ocean wave. Nice to be freaked. Underscore basic generous. Ocean wave. Let's keep it rolling. Freaks. Ocean wave.
Hey, thank you, Teresa Murray. Well, thank you guys very much. We're getting close to the goal, so, you know, who knows. It's good. So they diverted traffic. I wish I knew which sides, but now it feels like, I guess it could have, the fire could have been over here or over in this area. But they rerouted traffic down. So how would they have gone after they went? What did they say next? Down Sunray Beach Road across Delaware Avenue. See, there's Delaware Avenue right there. But see, Delaware Avenue ends, so what would that point of that be? And then across Delaware and over here. So was it, maybe the fire was right here. That's what it makes it seem like, that the fire was right in this spot, basically, because at that point the traffic would be like this and then be diverted here, come down Delaware Avenue, and then maybe come back out like this, and then be able to drive back. That's what it feels like they're saying, but it says Ray Beach Road across Delaware Avenue. Then page 3. Man, this is tough navigating on here. Hold on, I'm going to shut this off and open up the link originally again and see what the hell they were doing. So C3, what are we on C right now? Yeah, section C, so that would be like page 26, I would imagine. Okay, there we go. Which is parallel to the beach. Okay, and up Eldridge. Oh, there we go. Look at that. And then up Eldridge Avenue. So look at that. I mean, that was exactly. I think that's exactly what I was just guessing there. Watch. Comes down Delaware and then Eldridge. So the fire then, almost necessarily, would have had to have been right in the middle of Eldridge and Sunray Road, because if it was here, you would have had them turn on Rutledge. So there you go, everybody. Isn't that incredible? The little mini sleuthing right there. That. Hey, thank you, Esther M. Yeah, so that shows you exactly. That's exactly where the fire would be in this area, because they diverted traffic down Sunray Road like this, onto Delaware, and then up Eldridge like this, then back out on, and that's the direction they're even talking about. So they're saying like this, and then around, that means the fire was right here, and so if he went down the street right here to look at the fire, amazingly, the diverted traffic, though, goes on the same street that he's on, so some unwanted people, somebody that might have taken an opportunity that normally wouldn't have gone on a street like that, happened to be driving by and picked him up. So he was at home. He said, "Hey, Mom, can I go watch the fire?" She said, "Sure." He goes over here and watches the fire. Then on his way back home, the mom passes him and says, sees him going home. I don't know if what she said to him. And he's walking home, and he never makes it home, and his shoes found on the ground somewhere. A lot of traffic was rerouted past Himebaugh's house. There you go. I mean, I haven't even read these yet, by the way. I'm just saying. That afternoon, said Saunders, traffic that would normally drive down this... There you go. Look at this. I mean, I just said this exact sentence. It says, traffic that would not normally drive down this street drove past the house. Anyone could have picked him up. There is no sign that he ever got into the house after his mother saw him walking down the street. And even though we may have followed several footprints, we have followed several footprints along the beach, there is no clear evidence that they are Mark's. Because of freezing temperatures recently, Saunders also believes if the missing child were in the immediate area, he would not be alive. As cold as it has been, if he is out here, then we are no longer looking for an alive child. We are looking for a body, said Saunders. But it also gives me some hope. If he's not in the immediate area, he could be out there somewhere else. We may not be safe. He may not be safe, but there's a possibility that he's alive. More than 100 calls have flooded the police station telephone lines from people who believe they may have seen the missing child in Saunders. Our switchboard has lit up like a Christmas tree, said Saunders. We've gotten calls as far away as Pennsylvania. We've even had calls from people who thought they'd seen him at the Deptford Mall. We are following all credible leads. Anyone with information about Mark Himebaugh's whereabouts is asked to call the police. As the 46 hours arrived Wednesday since Mark was last seen, his mother carried a box of tissues with her before she sat on the sofa. Her face was tear-stained and pale. A woman knocked on the door and handed one of Himebaugh's relatives a plastic container filled with snacks. You know what you could do, though? Hey, are you still out there, Cindy J? I think that'd be perfect. Wait, I don't know if that's searchable, though. Yeah. It'd be cool to be able to figure out how to do the chapters based on a word that you type in the comment section. But I think it's more, you can look up the script of the show. A woman knocked on the door and handed one of Himebaugh's relatives a plastic container. I don't even know that woman, she whispered. This is the kind of thing that has been going on all the time. Volunteers haven't stopped searching for Mark. If anyone knew Mark, he's one special kid. He's a real sweetheart, she said. Thank you, Annie. Later, hair down D. Yeah, you guys should join the Facebook group GHI Grady Hughes, or it's GHI The Missing. Yeah, so it just stands for Grady Hughes Investigates The Missing, but I don't really run it. Zozo and Sarita, when she's not hanging out with her boyfriend, she's gonna come slap me. Oh, yeah? Huh. If anyone knew Mark, he's one special kid. He's a real sweetheart. I just randomly found him on the website. I haven't been able to do anything or really function around here since Mark's been gone. Detective Sergeant Walter Oliver said the teams of tracking dogs came from across the state to assist. The little boy is lost, said Sergeant Ralph Huffing, God, man, look at that name, Huffinago, an officer with Contrail Railroad Company. I've got sons and it's Thanksgiving. I want to help. We heard about the search on the news and so we came right out. So just basically the rest of it's about how much everybody's helping, looking for the missing boy. Abduction probe begins for missing Cape boy. Volunteers continue to search the area for 11-year-old Mark Himebaugh, a Middle Township, who disappeared Monday as police began a criminal investigation. Authorities shifted their efforts Thursday from a possible runaway search to a criminal abduction investigation in their attempt to locate an 11-year-old Del Haven boy missing since Monday. Additionally, a neighborhood park worker has reported seeing Mark Himebaugh shortly before 4 p.m. that day. He is the only person who has reported seeing the boy since his mother saw him heading towards their Sunray Beach Road home on foot around 3:30 p.m. on Monday, police said. Detectives began interviewing relatives and friends close to the missing child, including his parents. According to Detective Sergeant Walter Oliver, today we have eliminated the parents as suspects in the case. We do not feel they have anything to do with their missing son, Oliver said. Jody and Maureen Himebaugh are separated. Jody Himebaugh lives in Cape May, police said. A custodian at a Cape May County park south of Recreation Park on Bayshore Road. A custodian at the Cape May County Park. Okay. Come on, Cindy, type it in. Custodian, Cape May County Park. Let's see. Cape May County Park. South, right there. Oh, that's over here. So, how would he have gotten there? I think the kid probably was there. His timing's off, this guy. Because he was already heading home, and it was obviously it was around 3:30, so why would he be back over here? This seems like a good place to watch a fire, though. So you go down Sunray, walk across the street, watch the fire. This guy sees him, but he gets his time off. That's one I would really question on that one. And it was shortly before 4, too, so it's not even... So, a custodian claims to see Mark. Oh yeah, look at Esther M up on the Super Freak. I was reading what Danielle wrote in there. So that does seem like maybe it's a credible sighting, but the timing doesn't seem right. What are these guys doing over here? What the hell's going on? Oh man, I gotta check this out. Oh, that's not the one. This one. Ah, Chloe was just sprinting all over the place. Go get it, Chloe. Go get it. Go get it, Blue. That was wild. Chloe's just running laps. It's crazy. Oh, man. She's like a blur. Uh-oh. Get it, Chloe. Yeah. She's like a hell demon. 7. There it is. He saw Mark on Monday, he said. The employee at the park said he saw Mark with a young female. Really? I don't know. About his own age, playing on the playground just before 4 p.m., said Oliver. He's the only person we've been in touch with that apparently saw Mark after his mother did. We haven't been able to determine who the young girl is that was with him at the playground. In the meantime, we are regrouping and checking all possible leads today. Maureen Himebaugh, who is 40 today, is praying her birthday wishes come true. We haven't stopped praying, she said, from her home Thursday. Let's see. We haven't given up, Oliver said Thursday morning. We're still doing the best we can. The missing boy had gotten off the school bus from the alternative school at the Crest Haven complex. Let's see what that means. I'm just going to go right to that spot. Oh, well, there you go. So that's the Crest Haven complex. So maybe this is for, you know, at one point maybe this was for younger kids. Now this is the high school, right? I mean, this is in the right spot, so definitely over here. So that's good. Good to know that. So he was on a school bus. Gotten off the school bus from the alternative school at the Crest Haven complex and stopped to watch a brush fire. But is that, I thought he went home and asked his mom if he could watch the brush fire along Bayshore Road. So either the mom has her timing off or the guy at the park has it wrong. The missing boy had gotten off the school bus from the alternative school at the Crest Haven complex and stopped to watch a fire along Bayshore Road. I can't stand when things don't add up, you know. It's like, now I got to go back over to this one and check what they said here. Mark left home. See, look at Mark left home at 3:30 p.m. Monday, telling his mother, Maureen, that he was going to watch the fire about a quarter mile away. Isn't that a totally different story right there? When he didn't return by 6, his mother reported him missing. I mean, that sounds like a more reasonable story. But then we get to a different story where he gets off a school bus, goes to the fire, and then he's heading home and his mom's driving somewhere. And so how does the story get it's so different? That's not even close. Those kind of things bug me like that. That's not, I mean, that early on, you shouldn't be that far off. That's just tremendously different. Yeah, it could be bad reporting. To be honest with you, this story seems more plausible, that he was coming home and when he got off the bus, he's like, holy crap, and he was watching the fire. Although you would think he'd have a rule, so he'd have to go home first, ask permission, then go back over there. So that sort of makes more sense to me. Yeah, did you hear that? They were louder than... Hey, thanks, American lady. Yeah, they were making so much noise. They're actually fun to watch when they're like that, but unfortunately I didn't catch them on camera. Thank you so much, American lady. I haven't seen, was it Colleen up there? I haven't seen her since then. Yeah, but well, you can't say unless, Sarah Beth, because there's two different stories. So there is an unless. We just have to have the right story. Yeah, the missing boy had gotten off the school bus from the alternative school at the Cresthaven complex and stopped to watch a brush fire along Bayshore Road. Then it says, he was heading home on Sunray Beach Boulevard when his mother saw him and told him... Okay, see, here's what I think the story is. He got off the bus, he watched the fire for a little bit, and then he walked home, and then his mother pulled up next to him and he said, hey, Mom, I was just watching the fire, and that story got convoluted to the first reporter. He said, hey, Mom, I was just watching that fire, and he was heading home. It could be, though, now that he knew that his mom was leaving, that at that point he turned around and went back to the fire, or he went home really, well, there's no evidence that he made it home. So it could be that he went back to the fire after that. Don't know, because the timing's off. She says 3:30 when she left the house, and then the guy at the park said it was just before 4, so maybe he turned around and went right back over there, like a kid would do when there's nobody, like a parent at home. He was heading home on Sunray Beach Boulevard when his mother saw him and told him she was running an errand. Well, let me ask you this. How did he get dropped off on Sunray Beach Boulevard when the fire was blocking that part of the road? So maybe the bus stop was somewhere else over here and he walked across. I don't know. He could have been dropped off here and then he walked over here and watched the fire, and that's when he was seen by the guy that works at the park. Then he starts heading down Sunray Road over here. His mom drives by, sees him. He says, oh yeah, there's a fire down there, Mom. Interestingly, the mother, though, at that point, because the road was diverged, depending on which way she needed to go, if she wanted to go this way, she's fine. But if she wanted to go north here, which is, possible, we don't really know, she would have had to turn around, drive by her son again, and then go on Eldridge over here to then take a left, right? That makes sense? Yeah, it's kind of strange because there's a fire here. That's why they blocked this off, and the rerouting was like this and around and this way. And so the school is up here, so the bus obviously would have been likely on Bayshore Road coming down, and the bus itself, unless they hadn't cordoned off the road yet, they would have had to go to the right like this and then literally drive right by his house and go over to here and then continue on. Get what I'm saying? Thank you, Cadillac. I like those stickers a lot for some reason. I'm not sure why, but Is it where he went home, told mom he was leaving? Huh? No. 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 That's not it. She called at 6 when she finally got home. The original story said that he was at home and asked if he could go watch the fire. And then another story said on the way back from watching the fire, his mom drove by him because she was going to run an errand. He looked like he was heading home.
Chewbacca?
But now it's a story where he got off of a bus, watched the fire, and then headed home, and his mom drove by him. Get it? There's like 3... but I think the real story is he watched the fire. What kid getting off the school bus over here, and there's a fire, isn't going to stand and watch the fire for a while? They're just going to watch it, and then they come home, and the mom drives by, and I wouldn't be shocked at all if he did go back over there to that park and was hanging out, and there was a girl there, and they're just chilling out, and that's why the person saw him right before 4, because he got dropped off at right around 3:30. Then he immediately turns around because his mom's leaving. He's like, shit, why do I want to go home? I want to keep watching the fire. Then he crosses the street on Sunray over here, goes over here, and he's hanging out watching that. I mean, that kind of makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, Gray. I just think it's... Okay. She called him in missing at 6. What does that mean? I know, we've already read that out loud. Yep. Let me just keep going through this one. I'm just trying to work through what we have known here. Great, today my news reported children aged 4 through 16 living in deplorable conditions, being starved, fridge padlocked. One girl had maggots infested in her head. So bad, they had to shave her head. Wow. Well, send me a link to that one, Mel's Diner. We'll probably take a look at that one tomorrow. Let's see. The missing boy had gotten off the school bus from the alternative school again. I'm going to read this part again because I got to... At the Crest Haven complex and stopped. So he got home from the bus from school. He stopped to watch a brush fire along Bayshore Road. He was heading home on Sunray Beach Road, the same one I just showed you, Boulevard, when his mother saw him and told him she was running an errand and would return shortly. He was due home by dark, but there are no signs that he ever made it home, police said. And when his mom got home at 6, she got a hold of... Well, when she got home, she waited till 6, or she got home at 6. I don't know. He wasn't around, and at that point, she reported him missing. Police Chief Raymond Saunders said that during the time of the brush fire, traffic was rerouted past the Himebaugh's home across Delaware Avenue, which runs parallel to the beach, there and up Eldridge Avenue. I actually think that that element there has something to do with why he's missing. Because that's the only thing, the weird variation that day was the fire, the rerouting of the cars, and he goes missing. Saunders said the missing boy could have been abducted during that time, since motorists who would not normally travel down that road may have driven past and kidnapped him. The search is expected to continue today. Not only are we concentrating on the aspect of a possible abduction, but we're still checking the possibility that he is stranded somewhere in the marsh, said Oliver. On Friday, we are going to concentrate our search on areas we could not get to on foot, particularly the marsh. Mark is described by his mother as shy and sensitive. He is supposed to be taking medication twice a day. He is 4 foot tall. It says a day for a chemical imbalance, I guess. He's about, probably like he's got ADHD or something. He's about 4 feet tall, weighs 85 pounds, and has straight reddish hair. He was last seen wearing a blue sweatshirt, gray pants, a gray jacket, and white sneakers. I don't know what it is, but I think these ones are always so much more interesting to me than some of these other ones, because it's just like, you know, you can kind of put the pieces together, and then of course at that point the frustration sets in, but they're still interesting. Yeah, so now they're down on the beach, likely probably by his house there. Volunteers on Saturday launched what may be the largest missing person hunt ever in Cape May County. They combed the area for 11-year-old Mark Himebaugh. More than 250 volunteers, police officers, Civil Air Patrol. I wonder if I can find that where that is. I bet it's right down here. Hopefully there's a 360 camera. Oh, there's one there, but that's in the house. Who the hell would post that? You go in somebody's house on Google Earth? Jesus. Hold on, that might even be the one. Let me just back up a little bit. Ah, that was the end of it. Oh, so this is that road we were looking at a few minutes ago. I'm kind of wondering if... So I'm just looking at this picture right here. So these guys are walking down the beach, and I was just kind of... I think up here is that neighborhood somewhere. And I was sort of wondering if that house might have been the one, right? Almost the one that we're looking at there. Man, it sure looks like that. What do you guys think? Look at like this one, but you're looking at it from down on the beach, that side of it. I don't see that pole right next to it. But. Thank you, Eugenie. Not Corvallis, but Eugenie. Yeah, so I think it's just down there on that beach. But keep in mind, it was basically almost winter at this point. Well, search parties covered ground from the Cape May Lewis Ferry up the Delaware Bay to Reed's Beach. I said they believe that if Mark Himebaugh is in the area, he is no longer alive. Himebaugh, excuse me. After 5 days, what I'm looking for is a body, he said. By dusk, however, Middle Township Detective Sergeant Walter Oliver reported that nothing had been found. Volunteers who gathered at 9 a.m. for an effort were told to look for anything such as a piece of clothing that could be linked to Mark Himebaugh. They did say they found his shoe in that first article on the street, which is interesting. The 6th grade student at the alternative school in Cresthaven Complex was last seen walking towards his home. So I think now this is the story. It's not the original one. He's walking towards his home around 3:30 p.m. Monday after watching a brush fire. His mother told him she was going out for an errand, and when she came home, there was no evidence that her son had reached the house. Hamilton noted that since traffic was rerouted down Sunray Beach Road because of the fire, one of the motorists driving down the road may have seen something. A worker at the Cape May County Park south of Bayshore Road also reported seeing a boy fitting Mark's description playing on the playground with a young female about his own age at around 4. So I think he, as a kid would do, he was going to go home because he's got to go home because his mom's at home, right? So as soon as his mom drove by him, he may have walked a little bit more, knowing that his mom would be watching him in the rearview mirror. And then he turns around and goes right back over to watch the fire like any normal kid would do. And then perhaps on that walk again, like let's just say it looked like this. Yeah. So the traffic again was diverted down the highway like this. You take a hard left on Sunray Road, take a right on Delaware Avenue, and come back out and then go here because there was a fire right in this area here, right? The park that he was seen at's right over here. So let's say the bus comes down, drops him off. He walks over here, watches the fire for a minute or two. Then he walks home, and he's walking home, and his mom, they live right here. So you can almost go to Street View here and pretend that this is the mom driving. She's driving like this, down this road, and then somewhere, let's just say, coming up here, like right here, here's her son who had gotten off the bus. He was watching a fire down there, and he's heading down the road, and she stops, turns, and says, "Hey, I'm going to go do some errands, so I'll see you when I get home." And then she drives, and he keeps walking a little bit because, she might be looking at him in the rearview mirror here. And she goes into the street. Then he, down here, starts walking this direction again, and then there's this huge amount of traffic coming down the road. Also, because they had to divert the traffic down his road to get around, and then something happens to him. I'd like to know exactly where the shoe was found out here. That'd be a cool part of the story. Pat Hamilton, who was a friend of the Himebaugh and whose son Lance Sprouse is like two peas in a pod with Mark Himebaugh, urged area residents to also check their sheds, crawl spaces, and similar places for the boy. His mother told him she was going out for errands, and when she came home, there was no evidence that her son had reached the house. Hamilton noted that since traffic was rerouted, that's right, one of the motorists driving down the road may have seen something. A worker at the Cape May County Park south of Bayshore Road also reported seeing a boy fitting Mark's description playing on the playground with a young female about his own age at around 4 p.m. Monday. The identity of the young girl is not yet known. See, that's interesting. How come they weren't ever able to find that person? I mean, there's just a finite number of kids that would live in that little area right there. I wonder if they ever looked into this park employee. I mean, could it be sort of a Richard Allen scenario where you're like, oh shit, he was over here. I want to make it seem like he was playing with somebody else, and that way, something like that. A worker at the Cape May. Okay, so then police on Saturday held Mark Himebaugh's white LA gear. Let me see this again. 4 p.m. The identity of the young girl is not yet known. Police on Saturday held Mark Himebaugh's white LA Gear left sneaker found half a block from the family's home. Okay, well, there you go. See, I almost had it right where, quickly after he leaves home. So here it is, a half a block. So his shoe was found, like, right here. Isn't that crazy? See, this is why mapping is so important in cases. If we just didn't have pins or a map and I was telling you this, it wouldn't mean shit after 10 minutes. You wouldn't know what I was talking about. But now we've got a picture on the screen where you know exactly where the fire is. You know where the park is, where the custodian saw him. This is Sunray Drive where they lived, and they had to divert traffic onto this road and around like this. And the shoe was found there, the home is here, and there you go. I mean, that's how you do this. Thanks, Daniel Burrell. And Cadillac again? Come on, Cadillac. You're so kind, thanks. And thanks for the Aussie. G'day, mate. G'day, mate. G'day, mate. Is that better? G'day, mate. Yeah, he's just probably walking on the streets. They wouldn't really need sidewalks in a little tiny little Cape town like this, right? So they have his shoe half a block from the family's home and one of the few clues authorities have. I mean, that sounds like he was snatched. Here's a possibility too, that he was in the park and maybe he got sand in his shoes and he was walking barefooted, snatched, and the shoe dropped. There's no way in hell Mark is just going to leave his shoe on the ground. So that little incident itself makes it seem like he was snatched right off the street, doesn't it? The identity of the young girl is not yet known. Police on Saturday... Yeah, I'm just going through that again. So that's the girl that he was with. I think that's weird. Police on Saturday held Mark Himebaugh's white LA Gear left sneaker found half a block from the family home as one of the few clues. Mark Himebaugh is described as 4'6", 85 pounds with reddish hair, medium build, blue eyes, and freckles. He was wearing a blue sweatshirt, gray Docker-style pants, a gray jacket, and white sneakers, and has a freshly healed, broken left foot. So he was kind of limping around, I guess. Wonder how he broke the foot. We're not going to get to know. Experts on child abduction differ on possible outcome. So basically, the first articles were November 27th. We're on December 3rd. Let's see. Each year, the United States has an estimated 1 million children vanish. That's insane. And 6-year-old Timothy Wiltsey of South Amboy and 11-year-old Mark Himebaugh of Middle Township to the list. The good news, according to George Hegelman, Executive Director of the San Jose, California-based Vanished Children Alliance, is that most are accounted for. The bad news, sometimes they're dead. Most cases turn out to be runaways, Hilgeman said Monday, or children abandoned or kidnapped by a parent in a custody dispute. On May 25th, Timothy vanished from a carnival in Sayreville. 6 months later, on November 25th, Mark disappeared after telling his mother he was going to watch a brush fire. In last week's disappearance of Mark Himebaugh, the only clue is a sneaker found a half block from his Middle Township home. In the other case, a passerby found a sneaker. What's going on with that one? Timothy Wiltsey, let's see. Is that right? Oh, so he got murdered. Timothy Wiltsey remains recovered April 23rd, 1992. Wow. So he went missing in 85. Was a 5-year-old boy from South Amboy, New Jersey, United States, whose mother, Michelle Ladzinski, told police that he went missing from a carnival in nearby Sayreville on May 25th, 1991. Police searches of the park where the carnival had been held failed to locate Wiltsey. Almost 11 months later, his remains were discovered across the Raritan River in the marshland of nearby Edison, near an office park where Ladzinski had once worked. Due to charges in her account of how her son disappeared within a month of due to charges in her account of how her son disappeared within a month of his disappearance and her unemotional demeanor on the few occasions she spoke publicly about the case, she began to be seen as a suspect. That perception intensified later in the decade when she was convicted of first staging her own kidnapping, and then again, several years later, of stealing a laptop from a former employer. Prosecutors did not bring charges against her until 2010s, by which time she had remarried, had 2 more children, and moved to Florida, where she was arrested in 2014. Wiltshie's remains were so decomposed when discovered that the cause of death could not be determined, and it was unclear when anyone besides Lodzinski had seen him, making it difficult to connect her to any foul play. In 2021, the New Jersey Supreme Court heard Lodzinski's case. Chief Justice Stuart Grabner recused himself, and the remaining judges deadlocked, leaving her most recent appeal, which had upheld her conviction, standing. The court was persuaded to invoke a rarely used rule allowing a rehearing with another judge temporarily designated to justice to hear the case, so that a result is reached. At the end of the year, a narrow majority vacated her conviction because the evidence was insufficient for a reasonable jury to convict her. Wow, so they're saying she was convicted, but a reasonable, again, I wish we could do that all the time. But this doesn't, I bet you she did it. Why would she do those other things? Anyways, that was the offshoot story that we were just reading about here. I know that you guys often want to have that answer. Hey, Cindy, maybe you should do that thing where you type in the little notes in there, and then when I go back, I can just zip through and find chapters. Or since you're already taking notes, you know what you could do, Cindy? While you're taking the notes, write down the time in the show that I'm talking about that topic. And then you can just send it to me. And maybe every once in a while I'll send you a notebook or a mug or something. How does that sound? I don't know where the remains were found. That doesn't really... You can go look it up on the internet. Something like that. Search goes nationwide for missing Cape boy. The search for an 11-year-old Delhaven boy missing now for 2 weeks has gone nationwide. Mark Himebaugh's face is being displayed everywhere from Ohio to Hawaii and may appear on the Child Alert segment of Fox Network's America's Most Wanted. The announcement was made... He looks really familiar, like I've seen his face. The announcement has made Monday night in the living room of Chuck Knutson on Bucknell Avenue in the township Delhaven section before some 30 residents anxious to find the missing boy. Let me go to page the A4 here. I just want to get to more evidence stuff if they've got it. I have a feeling it's not going to get, like, there's not going to be much more here. That's A10. Wow, that skipped a whole bunch. I think they're missing pages. A8. 2. Oh, there you go. The missing boy was last seen by his mother November 25th. He was heading to his home, so now we've got consistency for quite a while here. He was heading to his home on Sunray Beach Road from a marsh fire, but police said there are no signs that he ever made it home. That day, police rerouted traffic past his house during the fire. This has led to some suspicion that he may have been abducted, especially since his shoe is on the ground. One of the only clues investigators have is Mark left LA Gear high-top sneaker, his left high-top sneaker, which was found 75 yards from his home. Alright, now we can actually do that. Might even be closer than what I've got here. Huh. You know what's interesting is that other story that we just talked about. I mean, it's also odd that, his mother drives right by him. I hope it's not similar story as the one we just read. Because she drives by him. She says that. Like, oh, I drove by him. But I mean, I guess it's technically possible that she picked him up, too. Don't really know. Thanks, American lady. Probably not very likely, but you know what I'm saying. Let's see. That day, police rerouted traffic. One of the only clues. Yep. While local investigators continue their probe in Mark's mysterious disappearance, people who know Mark and some who never met him continue working around the clock. Freshly printed flyers, posters, business cards, and newsletters were readily available. Maureen and Jody Himebaugh sat quietly during most of the meeting. They thanked everyone for all their support and prayers. Yeah, I mean, that's all feel-good stuff, emotional stories. I'm gonna keep looking through this. Probe of boy's disappearance narrows. So now there's some sketch here. Not sure what's up with that, but so this is now we're in December 21st, so almost a month later here. Local police confirmed Friday that they have a suspect in the disappearance of 11-year-old Mark Himebaugh of Del Haven, but would only identify the individual as within Cape May County. Middle Township Detective Sergeant Walter Oliver would say little else about the suspect. The local director of public safety first said that a suspect had been identified on Thursday. We're in the first stages of investigation of the suspect, Oliver said Friday. Police and FBI have not stopped searching for the red-haired youth who was last seen near his home November 25th. Police also released a composite sketch of a small girl. I guess that's a... Okay, it's a girl they want to interview. Oh, is that the one that he was with? A county employee spotted the girl with Himebaugh at Cape May County Park south of Del. I think it's astonishing that they haven't found the girl that he was at the park with, because that she lives there, right? And then you start wondering why that is. The girl was described as white. To me, she looks, the way they drew her, she looks Asian, right? I mean, the girl was described as white, about 10 years old, with, and then, let me see, 87, where are we on now? '89. Okay, there it is. Light brown or dark blonde hair, a fair complexion. She stood about 4 feet tall, weighed between 70 and 75 pounds, and had a slender build. The girl was wearing a dark blue ski parka with a hunter's orange stripe on the back. We'd like to talk to her, Oliver said. So far, she has not come forward. Himebaugh, a student at the alternative school in Cape May courthouse, was last seen walking towards the Sunray Beach Road house after watching a brush fire on Bayshore Road. Yeah. It's weird too, because if he was abducted prior to his home, he would necessarily, the car would drive by his house with him in it, and then the shoe's on the ground there, and then it takes a right and then comes back around. But then obviously there's cops and stuff, you know, waving people around. I'm not sure you could abduct somebody like that. That'd be tough to do that, unless they just put signs up to divert people. Shortly after the disappearance, police said that they believe the case involved an abduction. Authorities said there was no evidence he ever reached the house. You know, wouldn't it be weird, though, if the girl that was at the park was a lure by the abductor themselves? And it was like he was at the park, and then the little girl's like, "Hey, here's my dad." And he goes, "Hey, do you guys want to go get some ice cream?" You know, whatever the hell it was. But then you got to ask yourself, how come the shoe was only 75 yards from his house? that doesn't really fit that story if he was abducted from the park. However, it does fit the story if it matches. Well, I mean, the thing is, the shoe going out of the car, the kid would have wanted to get it. There's really no non-nefarious reason where a shoe would be on the ground 75 feet from the house. You know, the kid would have grabbed it. Since then, the boy's case has received attention on national television. Boy, man, it's a weird one. So it's got a little more going on there, I guess. Himebaugh signed buildings defaced with hate messages. A billboard of missing Middle Township youth Mark Himebaugh along the Black Horse Pike was one of several targets struck by vandals. A swastika was spray painted over it. That sucks. Absolutely unrelated, but yeah. Although maybe not. I think Himebaugh might be, you know, it probably sounds like it could be a Jewish name. But I think those are just people like, oh, he's Jewish, so they were. I don't think it's related to what happened, but you know, you never know, actually, right? I mean, if that was what somebody's goal was. Today marks 3 years. Now we're 3 years later, 1994. Today marks 3 years since 11-year-old day. Let me go back to the last one now that it seems more interesting. A swastika was spray painted over Himebaugh's face on one of the 20 billboards erected in Cape May and Atlantic counties last month to help in the search for 11-year-old Himebaugh, the Delhaven boy missing since November 25th. I'm shocked and dismayed that we have individuals in this area that belong to hate groups that would resort to doing something like this on a case that involves a child. Chuck Newsom, chairman of the group Friends of Mark, said of the graffiti on the billboards, which was donated by R.C. Maxwell Sign Company. Atlantic City Detective Daniel Lowen said swastikas and graffiti have also been appearing on other properties of Atlantic City. Aside from the Himebaugh billboard, the McDonald's restaurant on Albany Avenue reported finding a swastika and the message "White Power" outside the restaurant. We are investigating both incidents, he said. We are asking the public to help us so we can link evidence found at the scene, McDonald's, with possible suspects. A ride around Atlantic City this past week revealed similar messages and more swastikas. A building near Atlantic City Convention Hall, for example, bore the message AC Skins. Anyways, yeah. Jeez. Today marks 3 years since 11-year-old Delhaven resident Mark Himebaugh disappeared with barely a trace. But law enforcement authorities say they are still tracking down leads in the apparent abduction. A task force that includes Middle Township Police, the Cape May County Prosecutor's Office, State Police, and the FBI is still pursuing possible leads in the case, including some that have came in within the past month, said Cape May County Prosecutor Stephen D. Moore. Let's see. Well, thanks again, Cadillac. Man. So kind. Let's see. Chewbacca.
Chewbacca?
I'll be Chewbacca if you wanted to be. During the past 3 years, investigators have logged seemingly innumerable hours checking on tips from throughout the country. Let me go to A4, see if there's anything. Okay. One couple reported seeing a disheveled and hungry-looking boy in Sacramento area. Okay. Fast food restaurant, according to the father. A man said a red-haired youth approached him at a hamburger stand and asked for matches, then bolted when the man threatened to call the police. A woman said that she had hired a boy who resembled
Thanks for
Himebaugh.
going over this case with us. What a mystery it still is. Colon
Yeah.
underscore basic generous.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's an interesting one. Thanks, American Lady Cadillac and Jessica Schubach. I think a lot of people, they see somebody, now everybody sees that person. However, Moore said at least one of the sightings, the incident involving the woman who had her lawn cut, has already been eliminated by California investigators. Police have received hundreds of sighting reports since Himebaugh's disappearance on November 25th, 1991. Let's see. Since the last anniversary, authorities have released a computer-aided sketch showing how Himebaugh might have aged. They also looked into the possibility that a Massachusetts man arrested in prominent child slaying case was somehow linked to Himebaugh, but turned up no evidence of a connection. I guess Maureen Himebaugh's last photo of her son shows Mark left and Matthew around Halloween. Isn't this the one we just looked at? Yeah, hold on. Then 2015 is the next one. So now there's like this other, more detailed sketch. How come there's a guy now here? And interestingly, this sketch looks sort of like the girl sketch, except it's a guy now. Same kind of hair and stuff. You know, it's weird. Now that we go over all these cases with these kids, doesn't it seem way more likely now that these predators and rings out there are doing this, even back then? I mean, these child pornography rings have existed for a long time. It's just easier now with the internet for them, but obviously they were doing stuff before, right? County Prosecutor's Office is soliciting the public's help this week in the Delhaven neighborhood where 11-year-old Mark Himebaugh disappeared in 1991. Investigators have set up a mobile office at the Cape County Park south of Bayshore Road and invite anyone with information about the cold case to stop by. The prosecutor's modified RV will be at the county park daily through Friday to talk to anyone who might have helpful information. Let's see. In 1993, investigators honed in. So there's Thomas here. Okay, let's see. Police are working with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the one that we have the website with, because we've donated $21,000 to them. Exploited children to re-examine old leads in the search for Himebaugh. The partnership has prompted dozens of calls and few local tips, Middle Township Police Chief Chris Lusner said. They're pursuing several people of interest, including one suspect who first caught the attention of investigators more than 20 years ago. We're interviewing everything. We're reviewing everything that has been done. One reason we did the review with the National Center was to look at everything, Lusner said. In 1993, investigators honed in on Thomas, Butkovich of Havertown, Pennsylvania, searching his home twice that year, but finding no link to Himebaugh or Cape May County. Butkovich allegedly resembled the man seen in Middle Township on the day of the abduction that a Cape May County witness described to a police sketch artist. Philadelphia police. You know what's interesting? Let me go back. So you got this picture. Remember a little while ago when I said that she was a lure, this girl? So now I'm going to have to go find that one. Hold on. I mean, you don't think that's kind of weird? I mean, let me just, you know. First of all, the way they drew this does not look like a Caucasian girl, right? There's no, like, the nose bridge there, right? So then you go back to this one, and what's the one? 19... I mean, it almost looks like that's the daughter of this guy, doesn't it? So that girl doesn't live around there. That's why they haven't found her. Wouldn't that be crazy? I don't know. That's just something I threw out early. But I mean, you've got this. You know, it's not only it's parts in the same place. They did describe her as like darker blonde or brown hair. I don't know what this guy has. I mean, sketches are black and white, so. Cape May County investigators are looking for this person who was driving a white compact car with a roof rack and was seen with Mark Himebaugh just before the 11-year-old disappeared. What the hell? How come that was all left out of there? And was that the daughter? Who was that little girl then? No, this is crazy. Look at this. Cape May County investigators are looking for this person who was driving a white compact car with a roof rack and was seen with Mark Himebaugh just before the 11-year-old disappeared. Well, right before he disappeared, though, he was at that park near a little girl. I don't know. It's just a thought there. But finding no link to Himebaugh or Cape May, Butkovich allegedly resembled the man seen in Middle Township on the day of the abduction that a Cape May County witness described. Philadelphia police took an interest in Butkovich after a male prostitute told investigators that Butkovich had shown him a pornographic video of a child. In 1993, Butkovich denied any involvement in Himebaugh's disappearance through his attorney. According to a 1993 report in Philadelphia Inquirer, Butkovich had taken the prostitute to his Havertown apartment for sex and had shown him a video tape of him raping a young boy who was handcuffed and shackled. Jesus. The prostitute told investigators, see, this is what I'm saying. This is the shit that's out there. This happened back then. The prostitute told investigators that the boy looked like Himebaugh, whose missing posters were plastered across eastern Pennsylvania and South Jersey. Butkovich allegedly told the prostitute he kidnapped Himebaugh and drove great distances to kidnap children. The prostitute told investigators that Butkovich said he left Himebaugh's sneakers a few blocks from the boy's home to throw off would-be rescuers, but it was just one. It was a left sneaker, so it wasn't. No, this is a sneaker. A few blocks from the boy's home, but it wasn't a few blocks. It was 75 feet or yards, I mean. So, boy's home to throw off would-be rescuers during the abduction. I was actually wondering about that earlier too, because the story, the shoe being there, doesn't make sense. We discussed that earlier. You know, the shoe wasn't making sense to me. And then I thought, well, the person would have to drive by there anyways, and it did cross my mind. Would they throw the shoe out the window or something? Because the traffic was forced that direction. Butkovich, 49, is serving a 36-year prison sentence at Gatorford State Prison on a 1999 conviction for child molestation. That story sounds totally believable, actually. He is eligible for parole in 2017. Butkovich was indicted on 150 counts of child molestation. He is one of several people of interest in the 24-year-old missing persons case. In 1994, police zeroed in on a convicted child serial murderer, Louis S. Lent Jr., a janitor from Massachusetts, who confessed to killing at least 3 boys and girls in New York and Massachusetts around the time of Himebaugh's disappearance. Lent is serving a life sentence at Old Colony Correctional Center in Bridgewater. Police and Himebaugh's father in 1994 said Lent bore striking resemblance to the person of interest in the police sketch, but the investigation likewise found nothing linking Lent to Himebaugh. I think that first guy sounds pretty good. I mean, police in 1994 also examined possible links between Himebaugh and a disgraced Catholic priest named William O'Connell, who was arrested in Lower Township in 1994 on charges of child sexual assault and child pornography. O'Connell lived a few miles away from Himebaugh on West Wild Avenue. Let's see where that is. Anyway, and that would be somebody that a kid would get in a car with, right? What was it called? West. Zeroed in on a convicted child. Okay, it was up here. There it is. West Wild. Oh, there we go. So the priests live right on this street right here. Pretty close. And the priest was heading this way into town, and then he was diverted down this road and saw him. His urges might have taken over. And then he comes back out and he goes the way he was going. Who knows, right? Or the other diverted way is the other direction, right? So if you're coming this direction, you would be taken around like this and thus drive past him. And then you would take a right here, going this direction. See what I'm saying? They didn't say where Butkovich. I think they said it was in Pennsylvania. Anyways, O'Connell lived a few miles away from Himebaugh on West Wild Avenue in Vias, where he worked as a freelance photographer. Oh, of course you did. He was convicted in 1994 of sexual assault and endangering the welfare of children. Even before his arrest, county investigators examined possible links between O'Connell and Himebaugh when neighbors tipped them off about O'Connell's criminal past. O'Connell was defrocked in 1986 after he was convicted of child molestation in Rhode Island. He served a year in jail before moving to South Jersey. After his arrest in Lower Township, investigators took a second look at him, but found nothing implicating him in Himebaugh's disappearance. O'Connell died in state prison while serving a 10-year sentence. Lusner said investigators this month took a fresh look at O'Connell's criminal history and are exploring other leads to possible suspects. Himebaugh went missing November 25th, 1991, the afternoon of a huge marsh fire that diverted traffic off Bayshore Road. He had gotten off the school bus and stopped to watch the fire before heading home along Sunray Beach Boulevard at 3:30 p.m. when he saw his mom, Maureen. She told investigators that she let her son know she was off to run an errand and would be back soon. She said when she got home there was no sign he had ever returned to the house that afternoon. An employee of Cape May County Park South told investigators he saw Himebaugh at the park about 4 p.m. that afternoon playing with a little girl. See, I think it's, you might want to think that that little girl might be with this guy too. Police never identified Himebaugh's playmate, and that would explain that, wouldn't it? So you got this guy from out of town with this little girl as the lure for other kid that age. Hey, do you want to play? You want to play? And then this guy abducts Mark, and the girl is already with him, and you never see the girl again because she doesn't live there. That's the only thing that makes sense. And now they should check this guy. Did he have a little girl? Or was there another little girl missing, maybe an 11-year-old or so, missing in any of the areas that he lived in around that same time? So you could look at Butt Cavage and, you know, where he'd lived, and was there ever an unsolved missing person of 11-year-old? Because he may have been using her and then killed that person too. Huh? So she said when she got home there was no sign he'd ever returned to the house that afternoon. Yeah, so okay, so anyways, let's do that part again. An employee at Cape May Park South told investigators he saw Himebaugh at the park about 4 p.m., just before 4 actually, that afternoon playing with a little girl. So that's before he went home. He's still sitting there. Although he walked home. I mean, here, I actually think the story is, the reality is that he watched the fire for a little bit, but had to go home because Mom was waiting for him. And then as he was walking home, the mom drives by him, and he likely, you know, he may have gone in, we don't really know, but he went right back to the fire, and he was right back down that street in 10 minutes. He was like, oh my God, I got to keep watching. And then that's when he's seen with the girl. I think that, so he was heading home, watched the fire, headed home, and then was going back to the fire, and that's when something happened to him, abducted right after he was playing with the girl. An employee, okay, the week-long search, and they never found that girl that he was talking to. That's impossible in a little tiny town like that. The week-long search for Himebaugh was the largest Cape May County has ever seen. Hundreds of volunteers scoured the woods and neighborhood across the southern Cape May County looking for the boy. In 2012, an anonymous donor offered $25,000 cash reward for information leading to Himebaugh's safe return, and $10,000 for information that could solve the disappearance. Those rewards stand, police said. Then there was 2017. Missing Children Day dedicated to Cape boy Mark Himebaugh. There's Maureen right there. Yeah, so she didn't have anything to do with it. It makes way more sense now when they weren't able to identify the girl after all these years, and then there's a guy that, you know, sort of physically, you know, whether that's just a look that they had or whatever. I think those people are connected. The white car, the little girl, the abductor, and Himebaugh. Yeah, so it's National Missing Children Day was started by President Ronald Reagan in 1983. Anyone with information on Himebaugh or any missing child may call the FBI Newark at 792-3000. What's it say here? Himebaugh left his house November 25th, 1991, and was last observed at a park in his beachside community with an unidentified girl. So he doesn't, I mean, listen, we go with a lot of times you go with stuff like what are the odds? Don't you think that the fact that they can't identify that girl ever means that she's somehow connected to his disappearance? How could they not identify that girl in a little tiny town like this? Look at this. I mean, and it's right here too. So this, if there was a girl in a park here, they live right in this little tiny thing here. And even if not, in this one, there isn't a little girl that lived over here walking over there. Okay, so there's a little girl here. They've never identified her. That means she is connected and likely the lure to the kid who's her same age. And that's the age group that this guy is looking for. I mean, it was pretty coincidental, I guess, that another little kid just happened to be there, but who knows? I mean, hell, who started the fire, for God's sakes? Here's the marshy area, so the fire must have been, so maybe like it was just blocked in this area for like, I don't know, the firefighters or something. But look, here's the whole marsh right there. This whole massive area is the marsh. But maybe it just happened to be burning right around in here. Yeah, it'd be interesting to know how that started. A lot of too coincidental stuff going on here. An unidentified girl. He's walking down the street. His mom drives by, tells him, hey, I'll be back in a little bit. His shoe is found right there. I wonder, it's also, well, I mean, I kind of believe that story that the prostitute told about Butkovich, or whatever the hell his name was. Oh, man. That one actually makes sense. Again, this one's from May 25th. Investigators are hoping new technology will help them solve a cold case from 1990s. The Middle Township Police Department and Cape May Prosecutor's Office will deploy use of artificial intelligence to investigate the case of Mark Himebaugh. I wonder how that would work. Who went missing in 1991. You know what they should do is, if they have that shoe, test that shoe. Because if it was thrown out that window intentionally to throw somebody off, guess whose DNA would be on that? Police said Wednesday they entered into an agreement with Tap2 Corp and its service provider, Tarawi, to use AI to assist in the case. Man, how would that work? Law enforcement agencies have been using AI to help advance investigations, authorities said. They added AI has the ability to help find patterns in the case that may not be as apparent. I want to thank the Volley team at Microsoft for partnering with us on this important project, Middle Township Police Chief Christopher Lusner said in a release. It is important that we use every available resource and the latest technology to help us find Mark. My hope is this pilot program will help us solve Mark's case and be used as a model to help with other cold cases. 2 years ago, CBS Philadelphia Joe Holden sat down with Himebaugh's mother, Maureen, as the case reached 30 years since her son disappeared. Himebaugh lived in Delhaven, Cape May County, and went missing when he was 11 years old. On November 25th, I want to see if it's even changed yet, 1991, Himebaugh left home to watch a brush fire. See, now this story is wrong. He didn't leave home to watch a brush fire burning in the nearby marsh. That was the last time he was seen. No, he watched a brush fire after he got off of a bus and then headed home. But I think he went back to the brush fire. Fire police set up a detour on Himebaugh Street, which flooded the neighborhood with traffic and led to his alleged abduction. He was taken, but I don't know why. There's a lot of theories, but I don't know why that it was. That's why I'm hoping someone will come forward with that. I'm hoping. Maureen Himebaugh said in 2021. Let's see what this... I don't know, it's not really loading. Let me refresh the page. Yeah. It's not going to load. Wait, oh, there may be.
A South Jersey mother turns to
listen
CBS
to
3
it.
Mysteries for help to uncover any tips or leads that would help find her little boy who disappeared nearly 30 years ago. Mark Himebaugh lived in Delphi.
I cry behind, don't know that I
That's her right there.
cry behind closed doors for Mark, because he was adorable, intuitive, sweet, sweet.
She is Maureen Himebaugh.
I am Mark's mom. Always, always.
Her 11-year-old son, now missing for 3 decades this November. He is the Delhaven, Cape May County boy who's been forever lost.
I have his little troll, which is right there, that he gave me right before he disappeared, and it was all wrapped up. The police even opened it. It was wrapped in paper for my birthday.
November 25th, 1991. Mark leaves home to watch a brush fire burning in the nearby marsh. It's the last time he's seen. Fire police set up a detour.
Yes, that's the same house that we were looking at.
Down Mark Street, which flooded the neighborhood with traffic and possibly the person who abducted Mark.
You do have an 11-year-old boy who's missing. There's no closure for the family one way or the other.
A detail as random as a make or model of a car or the partial of a license plate could be key.
Any information would be critical.
Among the many theories of Mark's disappearance is that something may have happened to him along the Delaware Bay. A sneaker of his was located here, but his mom says she believes it was placed here in an effort to distract investigators.
Well, she's saying that because that's what the prostitute of, what was that guy's name? Ah, shit. Butkevich, maybe, or something. This guy. That's why she's saying that.
Yeah, in the beginning, the police were here every day. He'd look like that. I know he would.
You know what it could also be is that he threw it out of the car on his own. Like he just, like Hansel and Gretel. He was like, "Oh my God, they got me." He threw it out the window. I mean, who knows? But the things are the child that has not been identified, the white car with an individual that was communicating with him, and then his shoe, where he certainly wouldn't have left his shoe on the ground. All three of those things together are connected to me to why he's missing.
Of interviews and even some possible targets of the investigation have all amounted to only more questions and some dead ends. The Cape May County Prosecutor's Office declined to discuss potential persons of interest. For now, Mark Himebaugh has been forever lost, while also forever young as the clock has ticked on.
He's always that young, and we need to find him and find who was responsible for this.
He was taken, but I don't know why. There's a lot of theories, but I don't know why, what it was. But that's why I'm hoping someone will come forward with that.
Reminders of Mark are everywhere.
I take my finger and I kiss his picture a lot.
But no Mark. He turns 41 on Sunday. It's a day Maureen chooses to celebrate while lost in forever agonizing over the whereabouts of Mark Himebaugh.
I've accepted that I could go to my grave and not know. I don't want that. I want the closure, because the not knowing is the hardest. In my heart, I know he's probably gone because of the time, but you can't give up. I am not giving up on him coming home. I'm not.
For CBS 3 Mysteries, I'm Joe Holden.
Yeah, wow. Why would a prostitute make up a story like that? I bet you that person really did see this. What do you think? Cadillac again? Man, I'm so lucky. Thanks for everybody's support tonight. That was cool. Almost at the end of the month, too. I got everybody, most people in here. I hope I got everybody. I mean, don't feel like if don't, you know, your name didn't make it on the wheel, like it's some big slight or something. You know, I do these shows and I don't get to always be looking at everything every second. And it's really just sort of an extra at the end. Well, I hope that AI technology works somehow. That's pretty crazy. I mean, how would that actually work? It's weird. I'm interested to see what they come up with. But anyways, I don't have any more to offer tonight. If you're out there, Colleen, are you still there, or did you take off? Yeah, I think that story sounds right. The Muscovich, or whatever you want to call it. I can never pronounce that name. Yes, everybody hit that like button. All right. I didn't have it on live chat. Maybe that's what my problem was. What do you mean AI boys? Who are you talking about? No, they have their own proprietary AI, not the one that's out there online. And they're not just feeding in the facts, they're looking for... Wow, he died in 2019, huh? Yeah. That's not good. Man, that was a long one. So, well, thanks everybody. Started off tonight like it was a full moon out there. It was weird again, but you know what? I leaned into it. You know what I mean? It was. Whew, it got normal after that. Yeah, I mean, I could just recap it in 2 seconds. I mean, here, watch this. But I like going through the whole thing and just getting a feel for it. I mean, I think everybody that was here watching the show, literally, you just kind of know it, right? It's not like you don't have to have some video on it or anything. You know, so he goes to this school over here, Cape May County Alternative School. And on November 25th, 1991, he probably was dropped off by the school bus, let's say at 3:15 or so. And he's hanging out here, maybe watched the fire for a little bit. He dropped off somewhere around here. This might be the park he was at over here. You know, so let me just move that over. I mean, this is basically what it said. There's parking here, but, you know, maybe he was over here. I don't know. It was somewhere in this area. So he's over here, and I kind of liked it better when it was over here, though. Just, it makes more sense. It's in the, well, no, because this is where you wouldn't be able to go. So it's either over here. So it might be in this area. So, anyways, he gets over here, and apparently I think what he did, he started to walk home because he needs to get home because his mom's home and is expecting him home. And on the way home, his mom drives by and says, "Hey, I'm going to run some errands. I'll be back in a little bit." So then he turns around likely and heads back to go watch the fire that he wanted to watch. There's a big fire going on over here. And he was watching that, and apparently right around 4, an individual that works at the park saw him talking to a girl about his age. And there was a sketch we saw, sort of darker blonde or light brown hair. It looked like they were 11 years old, maybe 70 pounds, skinny. And he was talking to that person. We learned later that there was a man that he was talking to too, apparently, that had a white car with a rack on the top. And after he was seen here talking to this girl, he's never been seen again. And I think the girl, the 11-year-old, the guy driving the car, and his shoe being found on the ground right here are all connected. It could have been, hey, I live down here, and they started going down there, but that's also the rerouted road. I don't know. I don't know why the shoe's on the ground. The shoe definitely is part of what happened. 100%. Yeah, we know that, Cindy. We know that he had the white car. Yeah, with the rack on the top. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Really appreciate it. And we will see you. I guess we're going to be doing some more Arius tomorrow. Yeah. Well, they don't know if he had that kind of car, Cindy, but I'm just saying the guy that they said could be him had a white car with a rack on the top. They didn't tell us if he had a white car or not. We don't get to look at that. Now, spin what? Yeah, I'm going to spin. I got to thank everybody that I do a spin. What do you mean? Jesus. You guys, can you just give me a break one night? Just one time. Just one. It'd be freaking amazing. Maybe I won't do a spin now and just do giveaway memberships, just for. So thank you to Teresa Murray, Helena Bucket Babe, Traveling Teresa, Lisa Murphy, Danielle, Cindy J, The Repeat Typer, Peter Jean Darcy, Callie Gal 3, Amber Maiden, Cadillac, Kathy Chapin, Tina Susser, Colleen Daly Page, who we never saw again after that, Zozo, Linda Howe, Esther M, Annie Later, Hair Down D, American Lady, Norm Scanlon, Eugenie, Danielle Burrell, Jessica Schubach, A Portrayal of Vengeance, subscribed, and a new member is Mona L. There you go. Alright, here we go. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. This is for a notebook. The blue notebook, everybody. Here we go. If you want to buy the notebook, you can just send 25 to the PayPal, and you get the stress ball, which is a free cart, stress ball, the notebook, and a blue pen. Here we go. Here we go. And Cadillac wins it. Of course she won that one. Do you want that one, Cadillac? The blue notebook? How about this, Cadillac? If you don't want the notebook, I'll buy 5 memberships. What do you think of that? Sorry, American lady. I tried to nudge it along for you. I'm just kidding. I don't have any control over it. Thank you, Plato. Did Cadillac take off? Oh, you want to do that? Okay. Da-da-da-da. Alright, let me click on that. Alright, let me... No. Alright, there we go. I just shipped them off. 5 memberships. Angela Val, Anna Maida, Amber XOX, I guess. Yodes Mania. Now make sure to check those out and see what when they were created. All right. Let's see. This one was created on 2017. This one was created on 2016. This one was created on 2015. This one was created on 2020. This one 2012. Hey, they all look good. They all look good. They all look good. But anyways, we'll see you tomorrow for the Arius Watchers. What day are we on? 40? Right? Does that make sense? Seemed like we did 38 and 39 today. And then tomorrow's day 40 was still with Alice LaViolette on the stand. Looking forward to Juan get up there. When he crosses her, that's when it gets pretty fun. Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't know if he'll be on tomorrow or not. I think they still need to get through a whole bunch of her. I don't know. I guess I'll tell you when it starts. But man, they haven't even done anything. I mean, like, think about it. After the defense puts on their case, then the prosecution has their rebuttal case, right? And then they do the closing arguments. Jury deliberates, and then they have the. I guess because the jury was a hung jury on the death penalty. In Arizona, you get to have a second bite at the apple for the penalty phase, if you can believe that. So after the second time, they have a whole new trial just on the penalty phase itself. And then if it's a hung jury on the second one, then the person cannot get the death penalty, and the judge gives them life in prison. That's how it works. So it's pretty wild. Have you ever heard of anything like that? Like a second bite at the apple? Almost feels unconstitutional. Although it's kind of just retrying that element. Because a hung jury on the conviction. So what I guess in Arizona, they have the jury comes up with the conviction, like, okay, guilty of first-degree murder. Then they go back and the jury again deliberates on whether or not it should be the penalty in the penalty phase, if it's life in prison or the death penalty. Which isn't, I mean, I don't know how common that is. I think some states have that and some don't. Like the judge does the sentencing. I don't know how many days are left. 20, 30. Man. It just goes on and on. On and on and on. Like the song, you know. Yeah, so, all right, you guys. Thank you very much. We got past the goal and then some. I appreciate that. At the end of the month here, though, we might be able to do something way bigger than the last couple months. Let's see. We've already done 2,000. I've given away 2,000 already this month, and I'd like to, you know, double that at the end. Not that, I mean, actually try to do maybe 4,000 at the end of the month, but we'll see how it goes. More, so it'd be 6. And if we did more than that, maybe 65, and, you know, try to maybe send 3 more in on our DNA projects, because now we got 2 more cases to fund out there, and that'll go halfway to getting one done. So, awesome. We'll see you guys tomorrow, all right? Thank you all for being here and staying around, even when I'm, you know, sometimes I'm a little bit grumpy for a minute or so, but I don't have the same amount of stress on me that I have had, especially with the stream goal thing at the top, you know, just other elements. You know, there was forces out there trying to like really, like intentionally trying to disrupt the show. And you know, I feel like as soon as that's, I'm still, you know, you're a little shell-shocked still, but over time you can kind of just, you know, get back to the more, you know, having a better time and a more is more common. Like there was a whole year basically where it just wasn't really that happy, you know. So, and it was intentionally caused too. It wasn't some sort of like, oh wow, it was just getting stressful. What happened, Mel? Are you on rewind, Mel? Huh? I don't know what you're saying, this account, but no matter how bad we think we've got, there's always someone who has it worse. Yeah, but I'm just talking about you know, social media forces out there that are just, you know, abominations. So, anyways, seems like it's been alleviated at this point. Don't really, let's see, no matter how, keep being you. Yeah, I mean, I've got to be myself, but like last night, you know, we were getting kind of in these heated debates, but I thought it was pretty good, right? Even though it was heated like that. I don't know what that is. Oh, somebody sent me the... Alright, let me see. Before I take off. Date of birth, black, brown, long hair. Vehicle, black Jeep, blah, da da da. But so they're updated with tag number. Nikki was apparently seen walking down the interstate in California last night. This is May 14th. Not confirmed. Okay, see, those are the kind of things. It's just, they're not worth bringing up, okay? Because they're just like all these other cases where people start seeing somebody. Unless you know the person, you don't know if you're seeing the right person. Okay. All right. Well, again, thank you again for being here. You know, and we're just moving forward now, trying to kick some ass out there. So thank you very much for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. Here, let's see. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grader's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a specter with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temper fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender.
All right, everybody, thank you.
Just get right back to work. All right, everybody, talk to you later. Hey, oh my God, my voice. I think that was that Timmy? Was that Timmy right there? Hold on a second. No, this is Clem. This is Clem.
That was weird, that was Clem, wasn't it, Gray?
Yes, that was Clem, Mary Lou.
I'm Timmy. That other voice was Clem. Oh, okay, thanks, Gray.
I'm Timmy, not Gray.
Oh, I got confused for a second.
Anyways, all right, you guys. See you tomorrow. Thank you very much, and be safe out there.